Hey, this is Keith Young. I've been looking at a couple tutorials on the internet, and people have been shrinking these women's booties. I don't really understand that, so I'm going to show you how to do the opposite. A person like myself appreciates a bigger booty on a lady, so what I'm going to do is show you all how to enhance the derriere of a female. Now, what we're going to do, the key to this effect is using the Liquify filter. So let's go ahead and launch that. Once inside the Liquify filter, our image is going to load. And what we're going to want to do is bump up our brush size to about 600. Make sure that you have the bloat tool selected. And then we're going to go over to our image and click a few times. We're going to really plump this out. That's a little bit too much. So we'll step backwards a little bit. I'm just clicking to continue to add some size to it. That looks good. And now what we're going to do is I'm going to squeeze in her hips a little bit to give her a little bit better shape, more of a Coke bottle type shape. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to mask off this street because I don't want to affect that area of the image. So I'm going to click on the freeze mask tool. Make sure that show mask is set to display so that you can see the area that we're masking off, which is shown here in red. I don't want to stretch or bloat this area, so this is why I'm painting a mask over it to protect it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for this arm, but I'm going to bring my brush size down quite a bit because I don't want it to overlap inside of the shirt here and the hips. So I'm going to zoom in on the keyboard by pressing Command and the plus key, or Control and the plus key if you're working on a PC. And then I'm going to draw a mask over this arm because I don't want this portion of the image to move either when I'm making my edits. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to zoom back out, hit Command 0 on your keyboard or Control 0 if you're working on a PC. I'm going to choose the bloat tool again. I'm going to bring the size back up to about 600. And now I'm just going to click in these areas to kind of push them in a little bit. Okay. Same thing on this side. It's a little bit too much that last time. Just to kind of give her some nice hips. It's a little bit too much. There we go. Maybe push this in a little bit. That's too much. Control Z. If you make a mistake, all you have to hit is Command Z or Control Z on your keyboard to undo the previous operation. Okay, now that's looking pretty good to me anyway. So now I'm going to go ahead and click OK. And now to add a little bit more depth to this behind, we'll zoom in a little bit, hit Control plus on the keyboard, and then I'm going to choose the brush tool. I'm going to choose a large size, like 175 soft brush. So I'll choose 100, and then you can click and drag to make it bigger. So about 175. And what we're going to do is create a new layer. So down here in the Create New Layer, click the Create New Layer button, and then set the mode from normal to multiply, and then change the opacity from 100% to about 15 or 16. And then I have the flow of my brush set to about 10 up here in the tool options bar. So now what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to stroke over the top of this behind just to give it a little bit of depth. So you can see the roundness, kind of round it off here. Just adding some shadows where there should be a little depth. And the settings that we made keep it really subtle. Alright, now what we're going to do is fix some of these creases in the rear of her legs, because those don't look too attractive. So what we're going to do is use the patch tool. Select the patch tool, make sure that you have the correct layer selected with your image on it. The patch tool is a very simple tool to use. All you need to do is click and drag to make a selection around the area that you want to modify or smooth out. In this case, it's going to be all this area here. Then click and drag inside of your selection to a clear area of the skin. And what that's going to do is it's going to blend in those pixels, but it's going to keep the same color balance of that area. So it's going to blend in very smoothly and naturally. Okay. So I'm going to show you what we had before and after. Now I don't know about you, but I'm not going to be shrinking too many behinds with my Photoshop work. I'm going to be making them bigger if at all possible. So hopefully this tutorial helped out some of my people who would prefer a bigger behind than a smaller one. And I'll see you next time.